Speaking of things that are ill-advised, The Acolyte has been canceled. What is The Acolyte? The Acolyte is the Star Wars show that is extremely expensive, comes from after Disney bought Star Wars. Star Wars, some of the most expensive intellectual property in the world. I, of course, have not watched The Acolyte. I've not watched Star Wars in some time. I liked it when I was a kid. I haven't watched it much recently, but my associate producer, Professor Jacob, is a huge nerd, so he gave me the skimmy on it. How did this thing get canceled? Well, the tomato reader, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, puts The Acolyte at about 78%. So you say, well, that's not bad. It's a C+. Not great. Not a B or an A or an A+, but okay, it's not 78%. But that's the critics' rating. The audience rating is 18%. The audience hated this show. Huge flop. Disney spent $180 million on the show. If you break that down according to the length of the episodes, that's about $630,000 per minute of screen time. Disney and all of these other lib outlets kept insisting for the duration of this season that the viewership was great. And to forget about Rotten Tomatoes, forget about the audience numbers, because this was just being flooded by right-wing trolls who hate to see strong people of color spouting brave left-wing ideology on the screen, and don't believe your lion eyes. People love the show. It's got strong viewership. Well, okay, if it really had strong viewership, why would they cancel it? Doesn't make a lot of sense. You don't even need to watch The Acolyte if you just want to get a sense of the people who are working on The Acolyte. Here's the lead actress, Amanda Stenberg, who released a diss track against the fans of the show. Here's what she had to say.
Trevor asked what I want the people to know. I said, white people cry, what's the goal? Let's be truth, proud, keep an eye out for you silly racists.
We so bored, don't F with yo discourse, and she's kind of jiggling around like she's doing some kind of pagan ritual or something. All you people are racist. I want white people to cry. That's my goal. You people are silly racists. I've been oppressed for 400 years. Some young Hollywood starlet. Yeah, can't believe it didn't work, huh? Can you imagine? Can you even imagine? They tried. Rolling Stone posted a piece. This was just a few days ago. Can the best of Star Wars survive the worst of its fans? It's the fans' fault. It's like Principal Skinner in The Simpsons. Is it possible that I'm out of touch? No, it's the children who must be wrong. Of course. This is all good news. Maybe not good news for a nerd like Professor Jacob, who wanted to watch more lightsaber people, swinging the sword at each other. But this is good news for conservatives in the culture. And the good news here, whether you like Star Wars or don't like Star Wars or whatever, the good news is it reminds us that ultimately the libs can't take over things. The libs can't just appropriate things and take it as their own and succeed with it. The libs can destroy things. They're very good at destroying things. The libs were given Star Wars, some of the most valuable intellectual property in Hollywood, on a silver platter. They said, here you are. You've got this built-in fanatical fan base, this beloved franchise for half a century now. Here you are. And they blew it. They blew it in one season of this stupid show. They can't, because the audience understood that what they were doing was not Star Wars. They weren't giving, they took Star Wars. They took Star Wars and, like Han Solo with that tauntaun on Hoth, they cut open its guts. They spilled out all of its innards. Then they crawled inside of the tauntaun like Luke Skywalker did when he was half asleep. But the libs were very much awake. They were woke, I guess you might say. And they kind of danced around wearing the skin suit of Star Wars and said, Wookie Wookie, Jabba Jabba, we're Star Wars. Vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or whatever. White people are terrible. Make them cry. Waka Waka. Mishi Gushi Gashi, Jar Jar Binks, or whatever they say. And the audience didn't buy it. The audience said, wait, this isn't Star Wars. This is just some stupid left-wing political lecture. This is just they, thems and LGBT ideology and politically correct racial grievance. We don't want this. We're going to give it low ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. We're not going to watch, and we're going to make you blow $180 million. Sorry. Give us Star Wars. We'll watch Star Wars, but the left can't do Star Wars. So the reason that Star Wars worked in the 70s and continued to work throughout subsequent decades is because it's a story about the fight between good and evil. And good ultimately is going to triumph over evil, even though evil can be very tempting sometimes, and often it looks like evil's going to win. But the good's ultimately going to win. That's a good story. It's a traditional story. That's not a story the libs like. The libs say there's no difference between good and evil. The libs say, we got to play with, it's yin and yang, man. We got to embrace sometimes the evil within us, man. It's all blurry, we're non-binary. Come on, man, And that doesn't work. So good news. Bad news for Star Wars fans in the short term, but good news for the culture in the long term. The libs can't continue to be libs and take away beloved stories. That was a great clip. Now, hold up, ring the bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.